Great Debaters Contest is powered by Blaze, by Safaricom, the Youth Network.
Welcome to the Great Debaters Contest. We're coming to you from Nyeri region, where it is paradoxically warm today. I am your host, Mariam Bishar.
And I am Austin Nyumbok. The motion today is eradication of poverty in all its forms and dimensions is the greatest global challenge. SDG number 1, Mariam, right?
Yes.
But now...
And poverty.
So we have Nanyuki versus Kiriiani. Who's going to take the day?
We'll find out in just a second. Proposer number 1, you have 3 minutes.
Laura Gakungu, Kiriiani Girls High School. Eradicating poverty in all its forms and dimensions is indeed the greatest global challenge. Eradicating is getting rid of something, or simply swiping it away. Poverty is lack of something, and then if there is something, it's of poor quality. Forms is the type or variety of something. So let's take an example of our poverty here. There's the black spots, is the political poverty. There is the brown spots, is the social poverty. And then there is the gray spots, which is the economic poverty. But in general, all of this is what? Poverty itself. Dimension is the size or extent of a situation. When we look at the poverty lying in our hands, we can see actually the size or how extent this poverty is in our lives. The hands present the poverty, the hands present the people, the rock presents the poverty. Now this shows how much, as the more poverty gets to eat us, the heavier it becomes, okay? So it shows that how much the extent of this poverty is on us, remaining with only this section out here of us who are not part of this poverty. Challenge is a difficult task, and then global, it's something worldwide. Source BBC News on 27th March 2015 reported that the World Bank had reported that it is very easy to eradicate poverty from the face of the earth. That's good music to the ears. That's really good news. In fact, it's a very heroic effort. But check this. Don't get overexcited yet. Relax. But check this. What does this really mean? This really means that if we want to eradicate this poverty, we have to reduce the number of people from 15 million in each year. That is equivalent to 1 million people in every week. Is that even possible? If we want to eradicate this poverty, that people are saying it's able to eradicate this poverty in such a slow extent, the more we try to eradicate the same poverty, it's still the same poverty that is still coming in other forms. Through political instability, let's take Southern Sudan as an example. The families in the refugee camps are they are fed with roasted maize, which is not there every day. Take note of these two things here. There's roasted maize, and the families there live in refugee camps. So, when we look at roasted maize, it's not really a very good meal, and they don't even get it at that day. And then there is living in refugee camps. So how can you tell me that such living conditions is really good? Is anyone feeling me in this house? Does anyone feel me? Thank you.
First opposer, take the stage.
Like slavery and apartheid, poverty is man-made and it can be overcome and eradicated by actions by human beings. Words by former president for South Africa, the late Nelson Mandela. Eradication of poverty in all its form and dimensions is the greatest global challenge. Strongly opposing the motion, Godot Joseph from the Nanyuki High School. Eradication of poverty would mean to improve the standard of living of all people to a level where they can meet their basic needs. Their basic needs, food, shelter, and clothing. Fighting poverty is a no one man's activity. We need to all join hands to fight poverty. We are told that great people, or rather great leaders, make what seems to be impossible possible. They try to bring poverty to the minimum. Our leaders have to try to bring poverty to the minimum possible. ASDAC in the Caucasian Talk Circle is said to have helped poverty from its skinny legs. Through our posts, us as the citizens, them as the leaders, you have to do everything in our hands to fight poverty. Governments in these third world countries, these are the poorest countries, they need to counter this issue of unemployment, which is said to be the leading cause of poverty. This is by creating job employments. Job employments through maybe this system of devolved governments. They can create jobs in the devolved governments and also creating legal political environment. That is conducive environment for entrepreneurial activities. Eradication of poverty in all its forms isn't the greatest global challenge. If we don't fight poverty, then we won't be having a purpose of life in this earth. Poverty is a global challenge, but it isn't the greatest global challenge. I rest my case.
Thank you very much. We'll hear rebuttals, beginning with the ladies. You have 3 minutes.
Nchi ya kitu kidogo ni nchi ya watu wadogo. Ukitaka kupata uhakika, uliza proposers. I'm Ellen, from a school whose motto is strive to win. But at times things tend to be so ironical. When I was listening to my opponent, he actually said that leaders are trying the best they can to fight poverty. That is a very clear indication that poverty is the greatest global challenge because everybody is working towards fighting poverty. First point, expatriates. Yes, we have expatriates. We hire expatriates for plum jobs. Taking an example of Kenya, managing director who was the former in the Kenya Airways was Mutahi Gunze, but now he has been replaced by a Polish man whose name is Sebastian Mikos. Kenya Airports Authority then has its managing director as a Norwegian, and his name is Johnny Anderson. People who have experience, which is true, which is good. But former PS Secretary of Information and Communication, his name is Bitange Ngumo. He said it and stated it very clearly that this is demotivating to the local members. Kenya is a hotbed of talents. We have people who can manage to become managing directors, but what is being done? Expatriates are being brought to our country. Now, do you think we are going to fight the problems or even poverty? We can't eradicate it if we have our own people not getting the chances to lead the sectors in our country. I want to have the most luxurious wedding ever. But all this money that I spend on lavish things, looking at Drake, he is a singer, wants to buy gold shoes. We have Akothe, who is also a musician, who bought sunglasses worth 100,000. Is that really sensical? It isn't, because we are spending our money on lavish things and forgetting that we've got people to concentrate with, we've got businesses to build. Looking at foreign debts, right now, Kenya owes China, due to the SGR project, 847 billion. We also have a foreign debt of 2.6 trillion. This was according to the Daily Nation 2017, March 16th. So that means that every Kenyan owes a debt. We have the SGR that is going to benefit each and every one of us. But on the other side, we've got a foreign debt to pay. Each and every Kenyan owes China 18,000 shillings. Each and every Kenyan owes foreign investors 59,000 shillings. What's that? High taxation system. The rich people are taxed at a very high rate. E.g., Britain. They are complaining because the tax rate is very high. These people will tend to go to Germany. They'll tend to go to other places where they're going to be able to manage the cost that they have. If the poor are taxed and they have nothing to be taxed, that will never help us eradicate poverty. So as far as I'm concerned, eradicating poverty is the greatest global challenge. I rest my case.
Thank you. Gentlemen, we'll hear your rebuttal as well. You have 3 minutes.
Yes, you can. Words said by Barack Obama, the former president of USA. I, in front of you, is John Mwangangi from Nanyuki High School. As I oppose the motion eradicating poverty by its forms and by its all forms and dimensions is the greatest global challenge. About this, causes of this poverty can be overcome because, according to the quote of Albert Gistin, it is said that the world is a dangerous place, not because of those who do evil, but because of those who look on and do nothing. That is saying that human beings are the causes of this poverty. And so, if they are the causes of the poverty, we can overcome it. Here, my colleague on the proposer side said that the poverty is the greatest global challenge because all leaders are fighting it. It is incorrect because when fire breaks in your home, do you fight it all because it is the global challenge, or do you fight it all because so that you can save your property? As I come to my own second point, I said that this poverty, it has been brought by laziness of residents. This laziness occurs with misuse of resources. We can focus on the state of DRC. They have a lot of forest, but how do they use it? They have become the poorest in Africa. The other one is civil wars. As we get back to 2007 in our country, Kenya, we had the wars of elections, and that brought our country to be one of the poorest because of not understanding. So, if we make this political stability good, we can overcome this poverty. Another one is natural calamities. Natural calamities, they include drought, floodings, and many more. Drought, they are brought by deforestation, that is cutting down of trees. We can plant forests, we can plant trees and overcome this drought. Flooding, it does not mean that when there's flooding, that it has already it has come to the end of human being life. No, it has not. Because after flooding, you can change your life by other means. But to our fellow human beings, we get some of them when there's floodings. After that calamity, they tend to say that is the end of their life. That's untrue. Another one, it is lack of unemployment. As we look to the side of our government, it has established NYS, which has brought employment to the youth. As I wave my hands to you, audience and the judges, I leave you with one question. How can we overcome this poverty and the ways of poverty as we know it can? Thank you.
Thank you very much, audience, for those questions. The proposers have been asked why we need to reduce our population if we are to eradicate poverty, and the opposition have been asked by what they meant when they said that we didn't understand the causes of post-election violence in 2007. We'll have them respond. Proposal number 3, you have 3 minutes.
You see, God made man. Man brought poverty. And all poverty has done is make our lives a living hell. A question was posed to the reason as to why we should reduce our population. 1, rapid growth leads to high dependency ratio, unemployment, and this will eventually lead to poverty. My fellow opposers say that because many people do nothing. Yeah, and he's right, many people do nothing. This means that eradicating poverty is simply impossible because many people do nothing. I'll start by brain drain. This is the movement of people to other countries, either for education or self-development. Our January 2014 World Bank research says that African migrants have increased by half because these people are going out there to look for their own means of developing themselves, leaving their own countries behind. And you say that you can eradicate poverty. How if other people are going to develop the other countries, leaving their own behind? Mismanagement of resources. I'll take an example with the most recent mismanagement of resources in Kenya. The USAID recently withdrew its funds from Kenya. USAID usually gives funds to countries, especially in the health sectors, to develop them. But there are claims that in Kenya, there is mismanagement of these funds. This withdrawal will lead to unemployment, and also the health sectors will go down with the way they carry out their duties. You will meet that in hospitals, there are some issues that are lacking, e.g. medicine, beds, etc. You know, I think the world will be a better place if you all did what I said. And I tell you, join me. Because that side you're on isn't the safest side. Don't say I didn't want you. Don't say I didn't warn you.
Opposition, you have 3 minutes to respond to the audience.
When a poor man dies of hunger, it has not happened because God did not take care of that man. It happened because neither you and I wanted to give that person what he needed. Those were the words that Mother Teresa, the former Catholic nun, said. Now, that is what happened in the 2007 elections. We did not give those people who suffered the peace they needed. Now, someone asked, why the election misunderstanding caused poverty? One, why was the election misunderstanding? The first election misunderstanding was when the tallies were being made at the Bomas of Kenya, there was a light blackout. And you know well that the Bomas of Kenya is supplied by standby generators. The other thing was, one opponent was leading, but when there was blackout, the other opponent was very high, far above him. Why did that happen when the lights they had blackout? The third thing was the election misunderstanding. Some leaders, some tribal leaders, started blaming each other. It was this tribe, it was this tribe. Now, this angered the people of that tribe, and this caused the election violence. And what did the election violence cause? Someone had a business in a town, but he did not belong to the majority tribe in that town. So he was misplaced, and his shop or that business was burnt down. Now, that man went back to live in poverty. He went and was misplaced and lived in camps. The fourth thing was why was the opponent who was declared the winner sworn in during the night hours? That was the misunderstanding. Yet they had a whole day, they had all the working hours. Why was one opponent sworn in at night? Those were the election misunderstandings. Now, one form of poverty in Kenya right now is that farmers have access to outdated information. Now, when farmers have outdated access to information about agriculture, and the agriculture is poorly funded, you will see that this will decrease the production of agriculture. This will turn our economy backwards. Look at an example of the Netherlands. The Netherlands is the 12th richest country in the world, and it depends only on one thing, a flower called tulip. Now, we should learn from Netherlands. The USA has a population of 310 million people, yet they are able to control their economy. Now, if man made poverty, then the same man can eradicate the same poverty. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll hear closing submissions, beginning with the ladies. You have 1 minute.
I'm back again to drive more sense. I'm having this paper that you were given today. It's my directive, the SDGs. The first point is no poverty. But out of all these points, the 17, do you ask yourself why poverty comes as the first one? Do you? It's because it's very clear. All the other 16 points drive us to one point, and that is poverty. Eradicating poverty, trying to wipe out poverty, it is just the greatest global challenge. It is everything that you are trying to fight. It is something that is bringing a very major concern. And let me tell you something, that when you're having this poverty, we'll just not go far. Corruption leads to poverty. The low standards of living, insufficient funds, we have the low stature of the infrastructure. All of them lead us to one thing, poverty. And that is why I still stand to say that eradicating poverty is the greatest global challenge. And as many as of the similar opinions say aye, and as many as of the contrary opinion, do this. Take this paper, analyze it, question yourself, and ask yourself, why are you on the wrong side?
Opposition, you have 1 minute for your final submission.
God made man, man made poverty. That is the word that was said by my colleague here. If man made poverty, that means that poverty can be controlled by man. That's coming to my decision that if man made poverty it can be decreased by man. Another one, my opponent here said that if you need to decrease this or end this poverty, you want to first reduce the population. Why China has a high population, but the high living of standards, they are of qualified quality. And here, I stand before you, I can tell you, my opponents, that to end this conversation, just take your seats comfortably and join me in the opposition part, saying that eradication of poverty in all its forms and dimensions, it is the greatest global challenge. Thank you.
To Kiriiani Girls, I want to really applaud you. I think I saw a little bit of preparedness. Laura, good language, good analogy. I like the analogy of the stone and everything else. You can still work more on your delivery as well. You kept referring to poverty. If you want to eradicate this poverty, you just want to say if you want to eradicate poverty, all right? Do this. So avoid that. Ellen, good cruise examination. I think you stand out. And I think for you, you are a great debater. That was commendable. That was good ending. And I really appreciate what you did. Very good debater for that. I have nothing else to add. Just very good and well done. And I also love the rendition of the song on how you started. Sally, fair as well. The ending in your submissions as well was a bit of a time buyer, okay? So you don't want to start saying, you know what? You are wrong. You better cross to our side. Hey, come on. I knew you were trying to use time. And we as judges can tell that. But all the best to both of you.
Nanyuki, Joseph, John, and James, you'd have done much better. You had prepared enough. Check on your language, the tenses. There was some bit of I want to believe there were slips. Check on them. Check on those. Then John, at some point, I thought you were relying too much on your notes. You were reading. The time handling has not improved. Then James, election violence, etc. The blackouts. I got lost. I almost did not see the relationship between that and what we were discussing, to the point that I thought that it was not really, it was not cohesive.
The moment we've all been waiting for. Nanyuki High School versus Kiriiani Girls High School. Nanyuki, you are awarded 60%. Please give them a round of applause. Kiriiani Girls High School, the judges saw it fit to award you 68%. You are our winner for the debate.
Congratulations to the ladies and of course to both teams for a wonderful debate indeed. And thank you to our in-studio audience for being participative and supporting us all through. For you at home, thank you for watching. I have been Mariam Bishar.
And I am Austin Nyumbo. Catch you next time.
The Great Debaters Contest is powered by Blaze, by Safaricom, the Youth Network.